Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm your host, One Ton Hammer. I have my co-host with me, as always, Terry Diamantis. Hello. Terry?
Oh, I couldn't hear you over the music.
I'll make it really low. How's that?
Yeah, you can hear now.
Okay. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And Jen T. Maxey's with us. Hi, say hi, Jen.
Hello, everybody.
What?
Oh, I looked like I scared off the one other person who was watching us.
Well, that's okay. People come and go during the stream. That's normal.
Yeah. It's we just started too.
Yeah, that and
I chilled out.
I didn't shill this stream ahead of time. You didn't have a link to shill the stream either, so we're not late. We hit it at 9 o'clock perfectly. But I'm supposed to have all this stuff ready. But I wanted to do something different tonight. I wanted to do a video clip right in the show, so I had to make a lot of adjustments to see if I can make that work. So that's what was taking up all my time pre-show, and also going over some pre-show notes and all that kind of fun stuff. So we have Green Badgers in the chat. See, we have at least one person here.
Ooh, hey, Greg. How you doing?
So the show notes for tonight, we have a couple of categories. Biden's 8 cents per mile issue is on the table for the infrastructure bill, $3.4 trillion or 1.3 trillion, whatever the number is now. It changes almost daily. The nurses who decided not to get vaccinated are gonzies, fired heroes. And then finally, Florida man decides that he's going to wrangle himself an alligator. So we're going to take a look at that video clip. As I mentioned earlier, I've never really done video clips. We haven't gotten to the point of me doing video clips and doing charts and stuff like that because of StreamYard. There's a lot of technical issues that I have to do in the background to make sure the show goes out, looks good, is presented well, sounds right. So we use StreamYards to get everybody together. We only have 3 people, so we don't have to use anything exotic. So StreamYards works fine. And then I have to pipe everything that goes out to the real world through StreamYards. I can't just dump it into YouTube because then Terry and Jen won't be able to hear what the audio is. They can't hear the music coming in at the beginning of the show. They can't see any video clips, that kind of stuff. So it has to go through StreamYards. So I have to run Voice Meter to make all that work. And then I have to pipe everything into OBS so I can do stuff like changing the chat color bubbles, putting chat on the screen, having a nice background, that black moving background, and fun stuff like that. And then all that gets shuttled off onto YouTube, which has its own issues with stopping and starting and syncing and all that kind of stuff. So it gets a little complicated. And when I try to do something last minute, that's what happens. We ended up not shilling the show in time. And it's not Jen's fault, it's my fault, because I didn't have a link for her until it was 10 minutes before the show. So y'all want to bitch and complain, it's all because of me. Cannibalistic Wizards in the chat. Hello.
Hello.
What does the fox say? You know, I never got into that meme. That was kind of like before I really understood what memeing was all about. That was, I guess,
It was based off a song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst song, but it wasn't the best song. It was one of those things where it was meant to be catchy, and a lot of people just found it really annoying because it got overplayed.
Best of time and some worst of times. I got you. Good deal. Well, let's get into the 8 cents per mile. Biden's infrastructure bill includes a small section because they can't just come out with a bill that says do this. They have to come out with a bill that says do this and do this and do this and do this, and this has to be 500 pages, and it has to have all these additional things that really don't need to be in the bill. And one of them is Biden wants to tax everybody in the states 8 cents per mile in their car. I'm not sure how he's going to do it. If he's going to have us report our odometer readings, I'm not sure how this gets pulled off. But part of the infrastructure bill is if you travel to a job, you will pay 8 cents per mile, which comes out to roughly, you know, if you average everybody in the states, $1,000 a year.
Jeez.
Just to drive your car. A car that you pay taxes to buy. You know, some states pay taxes to own, Like if you own a car in Virginia, you have to pay something called personal property tax. You pay tax for owning the car.
That's
So
insane.
you pay
You
taxes
know,
to
they
buy
don't
it.
even offer like are they going to improve like transit at all? You know,
Well, we have
because this is
transit, but we're such a
yeah,
big country that we can't really use it. We have to
yeah,
drive to the transit hubs. So you're still driving.
and yeah, exactly. So like it's one of those things where like they want to raise taxes because this kind of thing kind of it's meant to motivate more people to like carpool and that kind of stuff. And it's like nobody really does that because they don't really
No.
have the time to do that. Like it sounds really nice on TV, but then you realize you have to find out where everybody lives.
Right.
It's a once in a while deal where maybe you get lucky and maybe you've got a couple people who work with you who live on your block or live around you close enough on your route. Sure, maybe you share on gas or something. Sure, but that happens so rarely where it's that convenient. Nobody really does that because
Ev-
it's not convenient.
Yeah.
That's why transit is why it is. And if you're
It's
not putting that 8% into the transit, then it's just going into your pockets. And that's sorry, America, but it's going into your politicians'
Ride
pockets
sharing
because
has all kinds of problems here because if you're going to share rides, that means someone has to come to your house and pick you up, or you have to meet somewhere.
Yeah.
You're still driving.
yeah.
Now you have to go to work at
Mhm.
9, so you have to get up at 5 in the morning because your ride share is
Mhm.
going to be here before he picks up the other 3 people. Granted, you
Mhm.
get
Yeah.
access to um, highways that have a high occupancy vehicle lane for like buses and people who have more than 2 people in their car. We call it HOV, high occupancy vehicle. So you get
Mm.
access to that. So the drive takes less time, but you have
Yeah.
to do all this prep to pick everybody up ahead of time. So people have to get up earlier. And the same thing happens when you at the end when
Yeah.
you go home. You have to drop everybody off.
Yeah.
And then you get the guy who
It,
only has like me, who only has a car that has 2 seats. How am I going to pick up 4
yeah.
people?
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's a once in a while deal. You might have the convenience of something like that working out where it's not a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
or where everybody's on the ball. But that is very rare because there's always one person or a couple people who just can't make it on time,
Right.
or they have other things they got to do. Other people
Got to
have
drop the
other
kids
things they
off in
got
the
to do.
morning.
Yes.
So I mean, there's that. Assassin's Gray has got
Mhm.
us linked as well. So thank you for taking care of that. And hello to Mr. Yes in chat.
Yeah, these people have this good ideas based off of nothing. It's based off of wistiness. It sounds really nice on paper or on television, but real life is just that everybody has their own things that they've got going on. Um, Now, if they improve transit or something, like if maybe they gave you better transit, put more stations, in other places or something, I could understand that
Hmm.
because at least that's something. That's at least something that you visually see going
Yeah.
somewhere where like maybe it's a little bit closer to you,
It's
or you
just not
have more
viable.
stations closer to you.
Yeah, it's just not
It's
viable in the
not.
states because we're just too
No.
huge, and
Well, yeah.
nobody lives close to work because we don't want to pay the enormous taxes for
Well, I mean,
living
isn't that why
in the
you
city.
you guys do that like on your own? Like you guys kind of make that decision as states.
Yeah, we're definitely different than Europe. Everybody in Europe is
Mhm.
within sneezing distance of everybody else in
Mhm.
Europe, but we're generally not. We have big houses that are away from everybody else, even other houses. I mean, you look at my farm, there ain't nobody within a mile of me. Literally a mile, like 5,000 feet. There's nobody, probably closer to 2 miles near me. I mean, now granted, I'm a little bit extreme, but people who have,
Yeah.
wife and kids and all that kind of stuff in their, 2-story, 2,000 square foot house, they've got a lawn, and they're not squished right next to each other like you see in like Scotland and stuff like that. So I mean, just being able to walk to a station to get on a bus or walk to get on a bus, no, you have to drive to get on the bus. It's that far away because we're just
Yeah.
spread out. No, that's not. I mean, it's just the culture is different here. It'd be
Yeah.
nice if I could just stroll down the street, pick up a train or a bus, and that kind of stuff. I mean, because I am because I have issues with my legs and stuff like that, I do
Mm-mm.
have a handicap bus that comes and picks me up. The state pays
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that. I don't pay for the ride because
yeah,
well, actually my insurance pays for it. But that they call it. I can't really give you the name of the bus thing, but
yeah.
it will come to my. I have to walk down my 400 500-foot driveway. Um, but they come and pick me up and take me to my medical appointments. So
Yeah. So I think the difference would be in comparison would probably, and I can't say the same for every city in Canada, but I would say I'm pretty spoiled in Calgary. We do have kind of a little bit of money, so there's a thing. But every bus route will take you to a train. Every train will take you to the same center. So you can always get somewhere in the city via that way. Literally from the airport, there's actually two airports. You can get to either of them via transit, via a bus that will take you. You'll take the train downtown. It'll take you to the stop where you have to get off, and there's a bus route, and that
mhm.
one takes you straight to the airport. So like, there's always a way to get there. The only thing that's inconvenient is time and the amount of buses that they have out going.
Mhm.
So like, if you're a little itty bitty route, you're lucky if you get one an hour. So you have to make sure you're there that hour. So at best, if they were to raise taxes for that reason, okay, well maybe they put more buses on the route. So more people are encouraged to use that if they don't want to pay for this car tax or something.
Right.
But that still doesn't work for everybody, because not everybody is structured like that, because we're a packed city and we've just kind of grown that way. Like, the infrastructure is always
Mhm.
just kind of built out like a block on top of a block on top of a block. So that
Yeah.
makes it really easy to make routes like that, because you just go in circles.
Well, this is
Um,
not based on a percentage either. So if you are a multimillionaire and you have to pay 8 cents per mile, who cares? But if you're minimum income wage, you're getting like $15 an hour, which I guess is minimum wage in the states now. And
Hmm.
you have to pay 8 cents 8 cents a mile. That's a number. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How does this work
eh,
in where you are, Terry? Do you have buses and trains, and is public transit a thing for there, or do you have to drive everywhere too?
Well, I don't have a car, so I can't drive anywhere. But um, no, but there's buses and trains and all that sort of stuff. I don't
Oh
like
my,
buses. I'd rather walk. So I'll walk to the station rather than
the
catch a
train station.
bus.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but no, I mean the trains are fine. I mean
close enough to walk
you
to.
you it's 25-minute walk from where I am to get to the train station. So
Well,
I
that's
could
that's
catch a bus, but
that's a bit
I
of a
get
stroll. That's not
impatient
bad though.
waiting for the bus. Like in the time it takes for waiting for the bus, I could just walk, and I'd probably get there not
About the
that
same
much
time.
later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't bother with the buses, but
mhm.
there's nothing wrong with the buses other than
I'll make the
I
same. I'll make
I'd
the
rather
same.
walk.
Yeah, I'll make the same caveat I did for my medical issues. Is that the
Mhm.
same company that does that for people who have medical issues who can't actually drive because of their issues? They
Yeah,
also do it for the elderly. If you're over 62, I think it is. These
Okay.
these buses will come and pick those people up and take them where they want to go. Like they want to go shopping, but they have to pay for
yeah,
it. It's like 250, I
yeah,
Yeah.
think, per trip. Or I don't, because my insurance pays for the 250. And then if you're under the age and you still want to get picked up, then it's like $25. So it's expensive if you're young. And how they pay for it for
Yeah.
the elderly to subsidize it, because there's gas and all, and the driver and all that kind of stuff. The way they subsidize it is the lottery. So in Pennsylvania, they have
Oh,
the Pennsylvania lottery, and the winnings. People who put in a portion of what the state keeps that people don't, cash in on per, I don't know, daily, I guess. They put that into this program. It's actually in the advertisements for the lottery. It says paid for, transportation for the elderly paid by the Pennsylvania lottery. So I mean
okay.
that's
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 nice.
so I mean there is a little bit of the state turning it around. It's not like they're just pocketing the money. So there's that. But I mean still 8 cents per mile. Like I said, unless they're like going to check your odometer, like when you get your car inspected or something like that? Or how does I don't know how they're going to enforce this.
And the thing I kept seeing on Twitter was so much for not raising taxes on people earning less than 400K.
Right. And here we are. We're not raising the
Like,
tax. We're creating a
wow,
tax. See, that's how, because that's
totally
how politics
different.
works. That's a completely different story. I mean, we're creating a new tax. We're not raising anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just like I said, not everybody has the convenience of what I described, you know, because every city has a different structure. Like some places are stretched out differently. You know, some places are rural, so they don't necessarily have that either. Like it's not too different from what you described. Like if you have a bus route, like it's maybe one or two,
Mhm.
you know, so that's not going to work if you live out in the farm.
Yep. There's the other
You
thing
know,
is the people that it impacts the most, are the people who are spread out the most. The people in the cities don't have to pay because they just walk to work. So the
Yeah.
people in the rural areas, and guess who is in the rural areas? Republicans.
Ah,
Yep.
that's
There's
actually
the
pretty clever.
yeah, the red states are all spread out, and the cities are usually blue.
Is this revenge for those Trump trucks? Is this what you guys are going for, Dems? You're just really mad about those Trump trucks? They really got to you?
I've got to
Just
tweet
to
out after this show. I have to tweet out 8 cents per mile. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, I gotta say something on Twitter about this because it's not really getting that much play. The only thing I've heard is Jeremy talking about it.
Yeah.
But not everybody watches the quartering. So what I want to know is, we've always heard of Jeremy from the quartering. Who else? Who else is from the quartering? Because we never see that person on the radio or on the YouTube. I mean, there's got to be Billy
I
from the
think,
quartering and Mark from the quartering. Why do we only
well,
hear?
I think the other guy's just his editor, isn't it?
I know, but I
yeah,
mean,
it's my understanding.
it's just funny how he always says, "I'm Jeremy from the quartering." Why not just say,
Yeah.
"I am Jerry"? You know, or you
Yeah.
know, it's just Jeremy. Why does it have to be from the quartering like it's a company? And if it's a company, why don't you have one person on YouTube representing you? Can't you grow the company and have two people so that you could take a day off? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand the branding. I'm a branding person. I take care of branding for Minions, and I help other people with their branding. So I
I
mean,
mean,
it just
it's
seems
probably
silly.
the same as Tim Pool. I mean, I know he's got other guys on his podcast, but you can't have Timcast IRL without Tim Pool, so he
Right.
can't take a day off either.
Yeah, but the quartering is not. It's the way it's branded is it's something separate from Jeremy. Like he's not the only person.
Yeah.
It's like
Uh,
saying I'm Tucker Carlson from Fox News. Okay, that makes
Right.
sense. Because there's other people besides Tucker Carlson who broadcast from Fox News. There's other hosts. So he's just one of those hosts. And Jeremy makes it sound like he's
Yeah.
one of the people from the quartering. Where are the other people? I don't understand the branding. It makes sense to me.
yeah, I think it has to do with how he probably started off with that channel. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that channel was just something that he played around with before, and then it was just,
It took off.
It was.
and then he just started doing stuff with it, and now yeah.
No, he has no
He
choice.
used to
Keep
be
going.
Click Media, and he was talking about Magic the Gathering,
Mhm.
and then
Right,
the
before
quartering
he-
was kind of like just his side channel, and then
Ah,
the quartering is the one that took off.
gotcha. Frosted is in chat. Hello, Frosted, and Keeverdam as well. Hello, Keeverdam. Yeah, I didn't know where the startings were for that channel, but I knew he was a D&D guy, and he got kicked out because he was pointing out pedos in the organization. But I didn't know.
I think that was Magic the Gathering that he did that.
Was it
Yeah,
Magic?
that is, yeah.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah. So that was, well, I mean,
I think that explains the name though, because a lot of people kind of did that. Like he wouldn't have gone with Jeremy just because if originally that was just his channel name, he wasn't wanting to dox himself. Like just saying Jeremy now is not a big deal, but like at the same time though, this point, if he's been doxxed, he's been doxxed. You know, he knows that, and I know that. But it's
You
just one
really
of those things
can't.
back in the.
Is there anyone that doesn't know his last name though? I mean, it's
I
pretty
don't.
common knowledge.
It's just like I said, back in the day, it was just one of those things where a lot of people did a lot of wordplay. So it's just this is kind of like his brand now, you know. But yeah, I don't doubt that maybe he could reword it because like he does employ. I thought he employed more than one person. Like I thought he had like a couple people.
He does have a couple people. I mean, if you
Yeah,
want to
so
include
it's
his
not.
lawyer as well, he's got quite a few people.
Yeah, so it's not that he doesn't have a company. It's just like he's a one man show in terms of like you know the content.
Right.
Unless he gets like you know kitty visits or something.
Yeah.
Bring back the cat, Jeremy.
I
What
don't know
happened to the cat?
I don't know. I don't know his last name. He might have said it in the air or something like that. But I mean, you can't be on camera with your face and not be
Mm.
doxxed. If you're gonna
Yeah.
have your face on, you're done. So somebody knows you,
Oh yeah.
and it will get out.
Oh yeah. I'm just not sure how long. Like I like as far as I'm aware, he's done that from the get go. But like I said, like a lot of people who started off with their channels, like you know, that was just kind of the wordplay and stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
Jim
Maybe
Beam
nobody's
is in-
just
in
pointed out.
chat. Hello, Jim Beam.
Maybe Jeremy's just not an English major.
Cannibalistic points out, I can't stand Tim for the same reason I can't stand the quartering or Jeremy.
Mm.
They take a 4-minute video and make it into 20 minutes. I haven't watched
Yep.
Tim in a while. I don't know if he's still doing that, but he definitely did do it for a period of time that I was watching him. And I finally just said, like, I don't want to hear the same thing said 20 times. I got you the
Well-
first 3 minutes. Now I'm not watching it at all anymore.
Well, with me, it had to do more with the fact that sometimes he would bring on guests that were more interesting than he was, and Tim has this thing where he has to take most of the show, and I'm like, no, Tim. Sometimes when you have a guest and the guest is bringing more people, you should let the guest speak
Right.
more.
Right. Hello. Check your logics in chat.
Hi,
Yeah.
Jack.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they both do the same thing.
Mhm.
And I mean, as far as I'm considered, Tim was worse at it. But they both do something that I don't like, and I see other YouTubers do it a lot. They bring some text up on the screen and they read it to you.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, I can read much faster than you can say it.
True.
So I've always read through what they have on the screen, and they're still halfway done. I have to sit there and wait for them to finish, and then scroll the screen
Well,
up more.
not even half the time the words are blurry too. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you guys have people doing that, then why is
Just-
it blurry?
just raise the resolution in the YouTube video. You should be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, I never really had that problem, but yeah, I can see how other people would. If somebody's like me, like I'm running the show at 4K. If your monitor can only do 1080p, I don't know how well it's going to look. I mean, YouTube is supposed to take care of that and make the text look proper, but I don't. I
Well,
never really talked to anybody.
My
find out if
computer
that's
adjusts for it. Like I
Yeah,
can
should.
watch I can watch high resolute, but like
Mm.
it'll turn it down for lower videos, but then
Well,
it doesn't turn it
YouTube
back
does
up.
that. Yeah, YouTube does that on purpose because if you run it at 4K all the time, you're using more
Mhm.
bandwidth, and they have to supply you with
Mm.
that bandwidth, and they're trying to keep their costs down. So
Yeah.
that's what that's all about. But I mean, I've never really talked to anybody who has a low res monitor who can only do 1080p to see how the
Mm.
show looks. I would assume that YouTube's going to do the right thing and make it look correct. But generally, you don't see people running live streams at 4K, especially at 60 frames per second. I don't know of anybody else who does it, to be honest with you. If you look at videos out by Lauren and Philip, Frank, I mean, you look at all these people who've been doing streams for a long time. None of their streams are in 4K. None of their live streams, none of their videos, nothing is in 4K. It's going to eventually be the standard. I mean, 8K is already out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is.
They're making 8K monitors, so it won't
For
be
me,
long.
if text is blurry, it means that YouTube has dropped it down to 144p, and I've just got to manually put it back up to 720, and then it's fine to read again.
Yeah, it always just knocks everything down for me to 1080p. That's what it always defaults to for me, unless of course the video itself is only in 480 or whatever resolution 240. But if the resolution for the video is at 1080p or above, YouTube will default me to 1080p, and I have to go in and physically tell it, no, run this at 4K. Like I watch Vice Grip Garage, and he fixes cars, basically, is what it comes down to. And he'll take the camera and he'll bring it underneath the car and he'll point to a part of the engine. He'll say, look at this here. This needs to be fixed. This is showing this. And if you're running at 1080p, I can't make out what he's pointing at. I have to bump it up to 4K. I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying now. It makes it clearer. So that's just my old eyes, I guess. I don't know, but you know,
Truck and Bear pointed something out. It's a past topic technically, but that tax, is it going to affect the truckers? Because that's stupid.
Of course it is.
Like that
I mean,
is
how
just
could it not?
stupid. I hope they realize that's gonna affect all around costs at some point. You know, because people will charge for it. I would. If I knew that you were going to charge me for doing my work, my company's probably going to charge for it. Like a lot of those companies pay for the gas.
Yep. Everything,
So,
all the prices are going to go up. Inflation's going to get out of control. It's already started. You can't buy a plank of wood without spending $150 for just a piece of wood. It's going to get out of control. $15 minimum wage. Man, McDonald's just firing people left and right and putting kiosks in. And all those people are not getting jobs.
And that's really sad because McDonald's is one of those places where you could go to almost anywhere on the planet and get a job at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, they had programs like that. Not everybody got a chance. Like, I mean, you had to prove you could speak the language, but
right. But like I said, not still, for long, because they're going to get rid of everybody if they can.
Yeah.
Keep costs down so people keep buying burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's good job, Dems. You've really solved the world's problems.
People keep on talking about how Republicans are not worried about the debt, but if you look at the big spending bills, it's all the Democrats are doing it. Is it really $3.4 trillion for the infrastructure bill? Republicans never come close to that kind of money. I don't know. I'm a little scared.
These people are yeah, I would be. These people are crazy greedy. Like they're power hungry and they are greedy.
Yeah.
And they claim to be on the side of the people and the environment, and no, I don't think they are.
I'm gonna pay.
They are on the side of the people. They just don't tell you which people.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to pay 8 cents per mile for me to drive a car. And I'm also going to pay Amazon 8 cents per mile for them to deliver my package. Because they're not going to pay it.
Nope.
Outrageous. It's outrageous. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Well, let's move on to the COVID crisis in our hospitals. Keep hearing over and over again how there's the COVID wards at 100% capacity and we're in danger and all that kind of stuff. And I was seeing pictures on Twitter of people sitting in emergency rooms, and there's nobody in the emergency room except for the person who's in the emergency room taking the picture. And they're saying, well, wait a minute, I thought this place was overrun. And they're just sitting there by themselves. And I was like, well, that doesn't make much sense, but I'm still hearing this. And it turns out that the problem is not because they don't have beds. They've converted large areas of ICUs into COVID wards. So they have beds, but they don't have people to run the beds. That's where the problem is. But nobody's talking about that.
They probably shouldn't fight all those nurses then.
And that's the issue. And now, on top of that, they're firing nurses on top of that to make the problem even worse. And you know how they're going to solve the problem? They're going to bring in the National Guard to fill in those spots. So you've eliminated people who were working citizens and replaced them with government.
Well, that'll be interesting too, because weren't they having problems with military people not wanting to get the vaccine?
Yeah, those people are going to get removed from the military with dishonorable discharges.
Yeah. So have they done that yet? Because I don't think they have.
No.
So you're going to replace them too, and then you're going to fire them, and then you're going to replace them, and you're going to end up with the scariest people, the people who are willing to do absolutely anything.
Everybody who will be working for the government will be required to be vaccinated. That includes the military. Even though they're not really working for the government, they're under control from the government, but they don't really work for the government. They work for the Constitution.
Mm.
They take an oath just like everybody else does to the Constitution, not to the president or to the GOP or the RNC or any of that kind of stuff. It's to the Constitution. So it's to the country. And it's a smart thing to have the leader of the free world with one of the biggest armies on the planet be a citizen as opposed to being a general. So I understand the idea of behind that. But the fact that the government seems to be replacing citizens with government is what scares me. You're not working your job. You're being paid to stay at home by the government. That's people being replaced by the government. Now, nurses are being fired, people who are working, and they're being replaced by the government.
But not just that, but people who are willing to do anything for money. Like the people who are, I was just doing my job. They're letting go the people who are like, I'm hesitant to do this thing because I feel forced. And like that's the thing, like it's one of those things. Maybe I just talk to a lot of military guys, but like they do have moments where like if they think they're doing something unethical, they are given some leeway to call on it, to call it on it, because it, there is a point where you're like, I don't think this is right. And I think in the medical industry, it's not too different. Like if you see something that doesn't look right, you should be allowed to speak up. That's kind of the point of free speech. It's not just about, being allowed to say whatever the hell you want. I just want to be a jackass. It's having the right to speak out when you see something that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And they're firing all the people who are wanting to do that.
It reminds me of a thing I saw on Twitter that kind of bugged me, where someone was saying, well, if people just got the vaccine, a mandate wouldn't be necessary. It's like, well, I mean, that is true, strictly speaking, but do what I say, otherwise I'll have to force you is not a really good message to be endorsing.
No, it's not. It's scary.
But I said that on Twitter, and then everyone's like, heard, you don't think any laws should exist because every law is basically that. And I'm not going to get into an argument on Twitter over it, but like, no,
they're going to push away their middle of the ground people, or even just the contrarians, the people who are just like, I just don't think I should have to take it. Like the people who are like, everything about what this thing is about, the very description of it, isn't going to kill me. A lot of people are willing to face those kind of things.
Let me get to some of the things in chat. Frosted, first of all, Frosted, congratulations on your wrench. He says they are overrun. They're overrun with journalists, photographers covering how overrun they are. That's quite a bit of the truth. If you want to find a journalist, you'll probably find at least one around the local hospital. And then Assassination of the Gray, Joe Potato, love that term, is full of shite about the U.S. service members being separated with dishonorable discharges. The UCMJ will not allow it, even if they are forced out. And that's a good point. These are just, as far as the military is concerned, he's just saying, well, he wasn't even saying, it was Psaki who said it, that there might be, and the term was there might be consequences, whether that, only I could think of that would be a consequence to a serviceman leaving the service would be a dishonorable discharge. So that was my thing. But the problem I have is the person who replaced Cuomo, what was her name? Katie Holcomb or something like that? I don't remember her name. She's talking about, at the podium yesterday or today. She said, it was yesterday. She said, the purpose of the government is to keep the citizens safe, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, that's not the purpose of the government. That's my purpose. I'm responsible for my safety. The responsibility of the government is to ensure my rights. That's your job. Whether or not I take a risk, that's my job. And of course, nobody said anything. CNN didn't say anything. Fox News didn't say anything. I didn't see anything on YouTube. Nothing. Everybody just let that whole thing go right by and not say a word. And I was immediately when I saw it, I was immediately like, oh, no. And maybe that's because of the First Amendment shit that I'm into, because I see that there often. But I didn't get a chance because of the show tonight to get on Twitter, but I was about to get very ranty, trademark, get very ranty with that whole thing. I really wanted to put it on the show tonight to point it out, but I couldn't find the video that I could isolate that said it. So I had to let that one go. We're going to deal with Florida Man instead. But yeah, it is not the government's job to ensure my safety. As a matter of fact, the SCOTUS has already said that an officer of the law has no requirement to make you safe. SCOTUS has already declared this. This is another First Amendment auditing factoid to bring in. So if an officer says, don't stand in the road, you could get hit by a car, you have every bit the right to say, fuck you, I'll stand where I want to stand, you can kiss my ass. Because he is not responsible for your safety. He can tell you, dude, you're going to get hit. And you can say, well, that's up to me. That's the way it works. I mean, I know how I would feel if some 30-year-old officer told me not to stand in the street next to my car when he pulled me over. I'd be saying, like, look, little boy, look, son, I'm a 60-year-old man. I know enough not to stand in the street to get hit by a car. So don't tell me where to stand. I would get very angry with it. So yeah, again, just telling people that the government is responsible for your safety. No, they're not. Bothered me. I guess you can tell.
A little bit.
Well, and it should, because I mean, you guys know all this stuff. Like, I mean, you learn it from like a young age, and it's like a constant thing throughout your entire life. Yeah. And the fact that they're doing it right in front of you is just like, it's maddening. And people voted it in.
Yeah.
People voted it in. You assholes hated Trump so bad that you let the worst people on the planet take charge.
Yeah.
Good job. Anyone would have been better. Anyone. Legit. Well, except for Bernie. Bernie would have sucked. Sorry. He's in there doing it too. So just so you know, he might even be the 8% for all you know.
Yeah. See, Assassin agrees with me. No, the purpose of the government is to protect the natural rights of citizens. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So we'll see.
Well, if you guys do that, then I guarantee you up here they'll do the same, because they like to do that shit up here. And Trudeau's still in charge, so he'll probably be like, "Oh, 8% sounds nice. I mean, we do have a carbon tax. I can always add another, a couple more percents over the next couple of years."
We Kiever Dan, we see you. Matter of fact, we see you better because you're white and everybody else is blue. You stand out.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on before I start punching my monitor, because it's really infuriating me. But yeah, the only last point I wanted to make is 6 months ago, these people were heroes. Today, they're fired.
Yeah.
So much for that. Florida Dundee. I know it's a combination of things. I kind of wanted to take this because it's a man wrestling with an alligator, which is very, in the minds of Americans, that's very California, or not California, very Florida, because that's where a lot of alligators are, obviously. But one of the Crocodile Dundee movies actually had, his name was Terry too, wasn't it? Crocodile Dundee's real name was Terry something, wasn't it? Pretty sure.
No, Paul Hogan.
Oh, Paul Hogan. Okay, I'm not sure why. Oh, his name was Terry in the movie, right?
I think no, Mick Dundee.
Mick Dundee. He was called. Oh, I know what I'm talking about.
I think Terry was the girl.
I think maybe you're right, but I also might think that he did a movie called Almost an Angel. It wasn't part of the Crocodile Dundee franchise. It was a separate thing where he died and came back as an angel. But in the entire movie, everyone thinks he's human. And at the end, spoil it. The movie's like 30 years old. He actually is actually is an angel. But I think his name in that movie was Terry. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
So, because it's a favorite movie of mine. Anyway, so that's why I kind of mixed up the title a little bit. It's actually Florida Man versus Crocodile Dundee, because it's technically an alligator. Florida has alligators, not crocodiles. You can tell by the snout; it's real thin and straight, and the teeth are on the outside instead of on the inside. But we're gonna try to play the video for you guys. So I'm going to transition to my hammer logo, and then I'm going to say share video file. It's a little clumsy. I'll get better at it, I promise. And then if you will go here, and everybody should be able to hear this.
You going back? You going back? I'm going back too.
Baby, watch out, watch out.
Get the down, Enaya. Right there.
You may have seen this on Twitter. My clip is a little bit longer than everybody else's, but I've tidied it up for you. So the other clip ends way too soon.
Hey, let me know when the head going inside. Let me know. Somebody let me know when the head going inside of the thing.
I got you, go.
He's gonna lose.
Hero. The man's a hero. Now, this is the part where the Twitter feed ends, where he gets, close to this point. But because there was some concerns on whether or not the animal was okay, and they cut the clip there. But I found the extended clip, and I sped it up a little bit here, where he actually turns the alligator loose again.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time trying to find this on Twitter. Now, you might be seeing some choppy video, by the way. There's people watching.
Yeah, it's okay. Alligator just looks confused.
But there we go. So yes, the animal was okay.
I was hoping that the alligator would just turn around and walk straight back to where it was before.
I think that's the thing, though. It was kind of like, okay, this is not a game I was ever old enough to engage in, but it was a barrel, something to do with putting a kid in a barrel or a trash can and then rolling him down a hill. It's not meant to kill him or hurt him or she. It's meant to make them really dizzy, so by the time they get to the bottom of the hill, they crawl out and they're just like, I'm going to puke. I get the feeling that alligator just experienced that. Also, you don't know what was in that trash can first. He might have just took a whiff of whatever the fuck was dying in there first. And then was rolled in there and then
I'm pretty sure it was empty.
Oh, it could have been empty, but the smell. If that had been somebody's
You've been bitten by an alligator? Did I read that right in chat? Can't be too deadly. I got bitten a few times and I'm still here. Did you get bit by an alligator? Am I missing something?
Oh no. I was talking to Frosted about blue-tongued lizards.
Oh, okay.
Because he was saying wrestling crocodiles is just backyard work for Australians. And I think, well, it wasn't a crocodile, but I did have to catch blue-tongued lizards and carry them up to the nature reserve. And I don't know what they are, but they sound deadly. They can't be too deadly because I did get bitten by blue-tongued lizards a few times, and it hurt
I don't know
a lot.
What that is, a Pluton lizard. I don't.
A blue-tongued lizard is just a big lizard with a blue tongue. It's very aptly named.
How big are we talking?
Jaws are serrated. I don't think it's got teeth. I think it's got a serrated jaw, and so when it clamps down, it doesn't let go. It's just
how big is that? a blue? Is it
Pretty,
3 feet, 5
Um,
feet?
I'm terrible because it's been a long time since I saw one. But basically, if I wrapped my head around its neck, it was like it took my whole hand. It wasn't like a little thing. It was like the size of my hand wrapped around its neck. But
Okay, so maybe 2 feet long or something like that.
let's see what Google has to say.
Like a size of a cat or a small dog.
Yeah, obviously not as tall, but yeah, maybe lengthwise about the same.
Okay. I think Kiever Dam lost because she said she couldn't see any video, but the stream is. I mean, it was a little choppy when the video played because I have the wrong values being sent to YouTube, but it was only during when the video was up. Now when we're back to just text and bubbles, it should be.
It did play though.
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
saw
she
it.
either missed it or it's lagging for her because
Maybe.
it did lag a little bit. Like we were
Yeah,
behind by
yeah.
like half a minute, but
Yeah,
I saw it.
I'm not sure.
Um,
Maybe
I
she
don't
has
know
a
what to
problem
tell
watching
you,
video.
Kev.
Maybe she has a problem
But
watching
yeah,
video.
I just looked it up. 60 centimeters, so that's what 2 feet long
okay.
is a blue tongue lizard.
All right.
Okay,
So it
that's
was
a big.
good
That's
guess
not
on
too
my
big.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking like something like the size of a mink or something.
and Green Badger Outdoors has it right. They are a type of skink.
Okay.
They're the largest type of skink.
But they eat a lot of insects too, which is something you kind of want to have in your backyard just because you're in Australia. And those are the things that really want to kill you.
Yeah,
you can't see them.
The problem is my mum is terrified of all reptiles. So
Aw.
if she saw a lizard in the backyard, I knew about it because she would scream and I would hear it. And I'd know, all right, I've got to go find this bloody lizard, grab it, take it up to the park.
Everything in
Aw.
Australia wants to kill you, so.
Yeah.
See, I was hoping that take it out to the park meant take it out to the park, but take it out to the park in some games means to euthanize it.
Well, yeah, I think we use take it out back.
Take
I think
it-
is what we use.
No. There was an actual nature reserve like
Okay.
further up the road from our house. So it's like just catch it and release it up there.
Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you on it. It's just I thought you meant that you took them out.
No, my mum wanted to. The only reason it became my job to carry them up to the park is because I wouldn't let my mother poison them.
Yeah, in case anybody watching is wondering, it's really simple. I've played Ark before, and sometimes you get many baby dinosaurs that you really don't need.
No,
So they go for a walk.
My mum was just like, I'm just going to buy rat poison and kill the fucking thing. And I was like, no, don't. And then like, I'll just take it somewhere else. It's just like, I was a little kid. I didn't want dead lizards all over the backyard.
In hindsight, you probably saved you both from other things because, yeah, like I said, they eat the bad ones too. Like the.
No, I mean, it probably would have been better to leave them there, but Mum's scared. So I mean, she wants them gone. She's either going to kill them or get me to cut them off to the nature reserve.
So yeah, that was a Florida man, and you can hear the cheers when he actually got it in there. Everyone was cheering him on, so he's kind of a hero. But
Frosted nature reserve equals wood chipper.
No, that would have defeated the purpose. If I was just going to feed him into a wood chipper, I would have just let my mum poison them.
Right? Like
on our extra topics tonight, we got CNN backing out of Australia, and we have Lauren Chen. Which one do you guys want to chat about? You have a preference?
I didn't actually know about this until you told me, but I mean, it kind of sucks that they're doing that. As much as I would never watch CNN.
Okay, so CNN. All right, let's talk about
no,
that.
I mean, I mean, I just think, you know, it should be it should be the kind of environment where like all media is welcome. I mean, if CNN is pulling out for whatever reason, that I
Well,
mean,
the reason is the Australian government is going to start fining them if they allow people to make comments that they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
then yes, I'm against them being forced out of the country in that way.
Well, what they said was, well, we want you to turn off all your comments. And CNN
Oh,
said,
fuck.
Oh.
CNN said, we're not going to do that. And they said, well, then we're going
Good.
to fine you. And then CNN said, well, we're just not going to be available to you anymore.
Well, there you go, CNN. We all have something that we would stand with you on, because there's this
Yeah.
thing called freedom of speech that we've been telling you about.
Anything we can do to get rid of CNN, I'm for.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Making them
But,
get rid
you
of
know,
themselves is even better.
No, but they're doing the same thing to Avi Yemeni, where
Oh,
he had a
yeah.
video up where
Oh, my God.
he was just filming the police, and they're like, "No, fuck off, get out of here." And it's like, "Well, I'm doing my job." It's like, "No, your job is to go talk to the media department." And they're like, "Well, where are they?" "I'm not going to do your job for you." Like, go find the media department, talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets so much shit. But Rebel Media is a
Yeah.
legitimate media outlet, so they have to treat him the same as they would treat anybody else. But they don't like him specifically because they don't believe that he's legitimate, even though the government has said yes, he is.
Yeah.
But they still treat him like shit. Well, other media outlets who will follow every barking order made, he won't. He won't stand in a specific place. He'll go right up to somebody and start talking to him. They don't like that. So they really
don't.
give him a lot of shit. Wasn't him and Sidney Watson when they came over from Australia to the States, they were separated from everybody else by the FBI and interrogated, and they sent
Yes.
Avi back?
That's true. That is correct.
Man. That guy
Yep.
gets
And they would have done the same with Sydney, I'm sure. It's just that she's an American citizen.
She had a passport that proved that she was bi-coastal, bi-national. What's the word? There's got to be something non-sexual that means that she has the right to be in both countries.
Dual
Dual
citizenship.
citizenship. That's the word I was looking for. You're so smart, Jen.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's just an Australian citizen straight up. So
yeah.
when he came here, they're like, we don't like you. Fuck off. And that was that.
It's not that it's not actually that hard to do. I remember a case a while back of a guy who'd had that happen to them, because people online had decided they didn't like his content or things he had to say online. They just basically falsified reports to the border, and they don't necessarily look into everything. It just goes as a mark. And so you have to clear that before you can go across the border. So if you've just taken a flight over and you don't know about it, and you get there and they do this check, well, yeah, you're gone. It's one of those things. A lot of lefties do this kind of stuff. With him though, that could have happened at any point. And he really should have checked, because I would have, just because they would have done it. Sorry, it's you.
It seems this always happens, is that while you're talking about something interesting, somebody in the chat will say something that I find hilarious. And I don't want you to get the idea that I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at what I see in chat. But I can't help myself.
I agree. Let's put CNN in the nature reserve. They would like it. They're all about the green.
Assassination says in chat, he says dual citizenship, trying to come up with the correct term I couldn't figure out, but he spelled it D-U-E-L instead of D-U-A-L. So I thought all I could think of was two guys at 10 paces shooting each other.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I had the exact same thought.
I did too.
I think that was on purpose. Maybe
Yeah, well, even when I said it, I had that image in my head. I was just like, two people shooting at each other, because I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of want to do that right now.
It's hilarious. Try not to laugh while you're talking. I'm sorry.
No, it's fun.
But yeah, I mean, this is a win and a win for me, because if CNN's reach is shorter, then that's a win, and if CNN points out to everybody else the censorship of all of this, then that's also a win. The
Mhm.
Australian government getting their way, not so much.
No,
Yeah.
because that's one less outlook who's recording it.
I mean,
You
Fox
know,
News will still be available.
it's it's one less camera angle. Even if they're dishonest, you can still review their videos and see what they caught. You know, so that's still kind of that loss, but at the same time, it's not the worst loss. Maybe you'll have a little bit less
I
lefty
mean,
in your
what are we really
country.
worried about here? We're worried about one of 10 left-wing outlets.
Mhm.
ABC News, the AAP, Reuters, they're all left-wing. So if you're missing 1 out of 5 or 8 or 10 or how many there are, I don't really know. I don't really care.
Mhm.
As opposed to Fox News, then I would be pissed. If they got rid of OAN and Fox News
Well,
and all that kind of shit, then I'd be
I-
upset because that means everything is coming out is just going to be left. Good, Terry.
No, but for me, it's a matter of principle. I don't think the government should be shutting any media down, even CNN. I
Mhm.
hate CNN, but I don't want the Australian government shutting them down either.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, if they're going to pick somebody,
Yeah.
if somebody has to go, I'm sorry,
But
but
out of the list to start
Not
with, it's
sorry.
kind of a surprise they started with CNN.
why? They're the biggest one.
That-
They're the ones who are reporting the most news. Most people watch CNN. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
going
guess,
after
I
the big
guess.
guy is perfect. Because now all the sheeple are going to be like, ooh, well, we don't want to get it blasted like CNN. We're going to toe the line. So you always,
Mhm.
whenever you get into a fight, the person you want to attack, if you have 5 people in front of you, always attack the biggest, toughest guy first. Because no one's going to want to fight you if you beat him.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they say to people going to prison is pick a fight with the biggest guy there because,
Right. Shows you're
people
not afraid.
will see that you've got, yeah.
Yeah, you got balls, right? I knew what you were going to say.
Well, that's not really what I mean though. Like, I don't think that they're the biggest fish. I just kind of felt like they were the ones to be the most like wishy-washy bendy about it,
Yeah. Assassin says those Aussie cops better watch out before they start taking fire from Aussies with unregistered firearms. I don't think 5 people is going to make a difference, but they want to act like jackboots. They should be treated like jackboots. I see America going the same way, and I'm scared for Canada, but I don't think it's ever going to get to that point here. I firmly believe that it won't get that bad. And I think the only thing that can protect us is the Constitution and the courts are the only people that are going to protect us. I'm assuming that people who get rights violated in Australia can go to their courts. Are their courts going to side with the people, or will they side with the police?
I'd say they'd side with the police.
That's a shame.
I mean, unless you've got a clear case of, like, if you were doing something wrong and the police, and when I say wrong, I mean outside without a mask counts as something wrong. Then they're going to say, well, if you'd followed the rules, the police wouldn't have, arrested you. So
that's
this is on
too
you.
easy. That's too easy to debunk because, well, if you wore a mask, then they wouldn't have shot you with a shotgun. You see how easy it is to give people the option?
No,
I'm
not defending it. I'm just saying that this is.
Yeah. That would be a shame if that's the line they took. I'm not saying that you would take that line, but it would be a shame if the Australian courts took that line. Where, well, if you didn't go outside, then it wouldn't happen. Then everything would have been fine. Because that wouldn't fly in the United States even 1 second. You would be laughed out of the courtroom if you said that in the States. You really would.
I think I go back to, there was a thing on Sargon's channel where there's this Australian lady who basically was explaining just how authoritarian Australia has always been. Like, not even just recently, 200 years, it's been a very authoritarian place because of its origin as a prison colony.
I'll let you bring that up. I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah, but it's easy to see the prison colony being overrun by the guards who have lost their shit and are now taking that whole power to their
started as a prison colony. And that didn't last
Well, you
very
know,
long. It wasn't really a prison colony. It was just that they took their prisoners and shipped them to Australia. But it wasn't really, it didn't even become a colony until enough people actually lived there before it
Yeah.
became a colony. So, I mean,
Yeah.
by the time it became a colony, you guys weren't, it wasn't just a bunch of prisoners anymore. So,
well, I mean, it
No,
was always
it is-
debatable on whether or not they were prisoners in the first place. Because
Right.
England had a tendency to just throw out everybody they didn't like.
yeah. It's
But
funny.
no, I think they sent people to Australia
Mhm.
with guards to watch over them. I don't think
Oh, really?
it was. I don't think it was simple exile. I think it was, you know, your sentence is go to Australia with work for the colony. But I'll admit I don't know the history of it as well as I should. It's been a long time since primary school.
The States have a much
Mm,
shorter
fuck all
history, and I don't know ours either, so don't feel bad. Assassination brings up, if you only followed the rules, that officer would not have come up from behind you and slammed your skull into the pavement. Did you guys see that video?
Oh, I did.
Oh my God. Is that guy alive? Did you see it,
I
Jen?
kind of doubt it.
Jen, did you see it?
The sound of his head hitting the floor was pretty
Yeah.
meaty.
Jen, you hear me?
Oof. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
That was just I was just not thinking about the impact real quickly.
Oh, okay. Does that trigger you? We can move on.
Oh no, nothing triggers me. It's always just like a few seconds of like, all right, I pressed that. We're good.
Okay. Because yeah, I thought for
Really?
sure that guy was dead. I heard
Well,
that
I
he
think he might
lived,
be.
but
For
I've never
me,
s-
the killing of the dogs, it strikes me
man.
as like especially unnecessarily evil.
Mhm.
Like we were worried people might get COVID when they come to pick up the dogs, so we'll just kill the dogs. Like that I can't get over that one.
You couldn't station a couple of officers out in front of the kennel so when the people arrived, just turn them away. You couldn't have done that. Instead, you had to
No,
shoot innocent animals. And I try to make it
And
as hyperbolic as possible. I say, you killed the puppies.
No, but people are making the point that the Taliban has a better track record with regards to puppies than the Australian government does.
Yeah.
Because all the dogs that the US abandoned in Afghanistan, the
all
Taliban's
got
like,
it-
oh no, we're taking good care of them.
They all got adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and for now, until somebody starts to eat them. But for now, they're
Yeah,
adopted.
but
Well,
the point is they didn't just go ha ha bang bang. It was
Well, these are the same people who were freaking out like last year because you guys were on fire and we're the koalas. It's like, well, you could have controlled this one, right? And you didn't.
Right. Well, we still have time. You want to talk about Lauren Chen? I always like to talk about other YouTubers because I'm petty like that.
Well, she's Canadian and she's cute, and apparently she's moving away. And congratulations on your baby. Hopefully, all goes well and no
That was the
problems.
link. You're
And
Canadian. She's Canadian.
yeah.
You know, that's how I figured I can get
it's
this
one
in.
of those things where you try to remember to salute because you never know.
But she was not born in Canada. She was born in Hong Kong,
Mhm.
right?
that's true.
That's quite common. We have quite a lot of connections with them. It's almost like Australia or something. It's almost like all his colonies have like things in common called England. But Hong Kong for us is a little bit different because there was a little bit of I don't remember the history entirely. I think it had to do with like World War II. And we were getting kicked out. We were trying to assist Hong Kong and we got kicked out by the Japanese or something. It's just one of those things we kind of there's a little bit of fondness for that community because of it. Just because like Vietnam, you guys wanted to save more people and you couldn't. You tried to. You couldn't.
Well, her latest video, which came out not long before the show started, I watched it just before. I was listening to it and watching it while I was working on the show. And at the end of her video, this video is on trans people. There's a trans person who insists that trans women are biological women. And that kind of Yeah, that really struck Lauren, because a lot of people, myself included, I'm one of those people who will give trans people the room to
Yeah.
say that gender and sex are separate from each other.
If
I'm
Eve
not the same
hadn't,
as,
if Eva hadn't spelt it out for me, I wouldn't have known.
yeah. I mean,
But
if you
she
talk
will
to
flat
Lauren,
out tell you, I can't have. She will flat out tell you, yeah, I am what I am.
well, yeah, I mean, most trans people understand that biology is one thing and trans is another thing. They're two different things. If you look in the dictionary, there's a word in the dictionary called gender, and also in the dictionary is another word, and it's called sex, and they're not the same word. They're two different words, and they mean two different things. But most conservatives will say, no, gender and biology are linked. They'll always push that. Shapiro does it, Chen does it, almost all do it. I will give the trans community the point that they are not linked. If they find that that's important, that they are not linked, okay, I don't really care whether they're linked or not. Doesn't make any difference to me. That is when I say to people, I lean a little bit to the right. That's a little bit I'm talking about. I will give you that much.
Yeah.
But when you start saying that sex and gender are the same thing, that you can change your sex like you could change your gender, this whole female penis thing, I'm not buying any of that. And
No.
I'm 110% against it, and most people are.
No.
It's one of those. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
I think it's pretty obvious you can change your sex. Sometimes you do doggy style, sometimes you do missionary. It's really up to the individuals involved.
It's when you realize
Indeed.
that they will do little funny things like, oh, if I put a picture with a bunch of skeletons on it, no one will be able to know the difference between these skeletons. And it's like, well, actually, no, that's not true.
Right.
It's not. It really isn't. Even down to the bone structure, the first thing that they're going to tell about you, if they find a full enough skeleton, is the difference between your femurs.
They don't even really need a full enough skeleton. If they get the pelvic bone, you're done. I've made this argument many times before, is that forensic doctors use the pelvis specifically to determine sex, because no matter what you do, no matter what we don't have the technology yet, and I wouldn't understand why you would do it anyway. But the female and male pelvis are not the same. They are different, and you cannot change them unless you break the pelvis bone and put it back together, shatter it, and then put it back together in a way where it resembles. And who wants to not be able to walk for 5 years while it's healing? Because the pelvic bone takes a long time to heal.
And it really does kind of spit in the face of their own argument, because here's the thing: I can't ever really speak from the position of knowing what it's like to be a man, just like I can't speak from the position of knowing what it's like to be a man who's a person of color, just like I can't say what it's like to be a trans woman, because I really physically can't. I can't mentally understand that struggle, which is why I'm never going to be cruel to somebody who's coming out as trans. It just takes my brain a little bit of time to actually process things. It's like coming across people who have different personalities or different mental disorders, because there are people who have stutters or things like that. Sometimes the regular person needs that time to just process, okay, this person is different, and everybody takes a little bit different time to process that. Like Terry's really fast, actually. Like, you're pretty quick with people. I'm a little bit slower with some people. Like, I like to take my time, so I'll just be kind the entire time that I'm taking my time, because I don't know what I'm dealing with. I just use my polite face really, really, really hard. But it's sincere, because I don't want to hurt feelings either. But at the same time, though, I'm not going to moderate my speech for you, because that's how I'm going to break every single China dish in the China store, because I'm an elephant right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long, and the thing is, Lauren points out that she has, everybody does, has friends who are trans, and they actually came to dispute what this person was saying. If you looked at the thread that this person started on Twitter about biology and gender being identical and you can change them both as you see fit, the most pushback she got, I mean, everybody who was not trans was saying, oh, give me a break. And that was their argument. Like it's just
Yeah.
preposterous. But the people who were trans were saying, no, you're wrong. They objected more defiantly and more clearly. And they're saying you're not doing the trans community any favors by holding this view because it's obviously insane. So it was just, but what got me on this video wasn't so much the subject, which I spend hours on this, but it was the ending of the video where she's kind of summing up her thoughts, and she uses the term. She says, you have to understand that some people are going to be like that, and let's just call a spade a spade.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. See, I'm not the word police. If I want to say something, I'm going to say it, and that's the thing. But when it comes to colloquialisms like that one, I try to steer away from it because you can make exactly the same point more succinctly with less words. Being an English major, when I see someone say, call a spade, my mind says what you should be saying is, call it like it is.
Yeah.
Now, this all
Well,
came
no,
from
I think
Greeks, by the way,
for
so
me,
this ties into Terry. Go ahead, Terry.
No, I think call a spade is just, it's going to cause problems that don't need to exist because
Exactly.
then they're going
Exactly.
to call you racist.
Yep. It's a way into calling you a racist by saying something like that. And I mentioned that this was a Greek term. I don't remember the specific Greek person who started this, but the term that he started was call a fig and a trow was the term that he used in literature. That's where this came from, and eventually it came to be modified over the years to let's call a spade. And even if you look at the original meaning, everyone just thinks like a fig leaf, and a trow like what you would dig up for whatchamacallit, for planting seeds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about whether he actually meant fig as in the male genitalia and the trow as the female genitalia, because it fits. And the guy, I don't remember which guy wrote it, but he was known to do stuff like that. He was known to add sexualization into things that weren't intended to really be sexual, like innuendo, where things could be taken.
Oh, I would have gone bad too, because I was trying to think of something nice too, like, maybe I'd go with like Shakespeare, if you call a rose by any other name, is it not still a rose? But then I have this side quote where I'm like, but if you call a pile of shit a rose, you know somebody's selling you a pile of shit.
Assassin makes a good point. When after the term "a fig is a fig" fell out of grace, and a spade is just a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. In that terminology, at that time period, spade meant a shovel.
Not
but that's
quite.
not.
I was actually going to point that out. Spades and shovels are slightly different.
They are different. But that's what it was called back then. The shovel is.
It's one of those things where it's evolved. It's evolved a couple times.
Yeah,
it's funny because I was playing a Phoenix Wright video game, and one of the recurring arguments between Phoenix and his assistant is this a spade or a shovel?
It's when you realize that every character on those cards is actually a kind of weapon. In reality, like a club is a club, like a club.
Right.
A spade is actually a weapon. It was a farm tool, but it was also created into a weapon.
Yeah. Spade's a pointy, shovels a flat.
And then you've got a diamond, which is a spear.
Right. But a spade
and
a shovel.
The heart is the king.
Yeah, the spade and the shovel didn't exist at the same time, because a spade is what the UK people call it, even to this day. They still call it a spade. Shovel has been adopted more in the United States. You won't hear anybody here call a shovel a spade. Everybody here will call a shovel a shovel.
Yeah, well, I think they're different designs. Like a spade is more pointy, like comes to a point. And
Americans are just too stupid for that. We'll still call it a shovel.
Well, it's when you think about a lot of card games are based off of military games. Like a lot of them are. Like it's not just war. A lot of those games are like, I'm conquering your castle right now. And if you really kind of think of who the other three characters are on that, that's your citizenry going after your king. So if you were actually having a conversation with somebody and you were planning something out, you could actually just use your cards to have a conversation with somebody.
I actually own a spade.
Mhm.
I bought it on Amazon because we have a real problem with icing in my area whenever it's during the winter and it snows. It freezes and rains and snows and freezes. You get this thick
Mhm.
sheet of ice. And unless you're out there shoveling every 5 minutes, it will freeze. So
Mhm.
you need
Mhm.
something to break up the ice. And short of a sledgehammer, the best thing to break up an ice is a spade because it's a pointy shovel.
Mhm.
It's light. You can get a really good swing on it because it's light. It's pointy, so it will break ice. So I ordered a spade
And
because we had problems in our patio with this huge
Mhm.
sheet of ice. And I ordered it, came, and I wasn't here. I was at a doctor's appointment when it was delivered. So my girlfriend opened it up and she took it out and she assembled it for me because she's amazing. And when I got home, I said, "Oh, it came." And she says, "Yeah, did you order that shovel?" And if you were to take this item, it clearly is a spade, and take it to
Mhm.
anybody in the United States, I guarantee you, I mean, there's gonna be very few people who would know the difference.
Mhm.
So
It's one of those things. Like I'm probably overthinking that too, because it's not like cards aren't used for other things too. Because numbers and there's a lot of numerology. You can do a lot of numerology with cards. Um, but I always kind of like that little background factor, just because like if you don't know what those tools were also used for,
Mhm.
I'm just thinking of King Richard II.
Mhm.
Because you got to think a lot of the tools that they formed a little militia and they went to go rescue the king, back in the day. So a lot of the tools that they came to the field with were those tools. So you're thinking your shovel. They sharpened the shovel. Sometimes they took their picks, the stuff that they were using to shovel
Mhm.
their hay with. So you get your spades, you got your diamond, you've got your club,
Right.
and then at the heart you've got your king.
Right. Yeah.
It's
So
just it's stupid stuff. Yeah.
Chad, of course, is making me laugh while I'm trying to listen to you at the same time.
Yeah.
Frosted Glass says spades and shovels are both farming equipment, and then
Mhm.
spades are farm tools. That's mighty racist. Johnny Hellcat, our Thursday host, says. And then Frosted comes back. Damn it, Frosted! I'm gonna start putting you in the corner. You can still own spades, dude.
Speaking of the corner, that is Frosted Glass's show every week.
Yes.
Listen, I was not the person who handed Satsu 500 cotton seeds. That was someone else entirely.
That was
I,
Sheila.
I, I,
That
I
was
just
funny.
I just left cotton in his box because I picked it for him. I
And that-
figured, you know what, it needed to get done. He wasn't gonna do it, so I did it.
Yeah, and Satsu's the kind of person who's gonna laugh at that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that made me laugh for quite a while when I heard that they had done that to him. Poor Satsu. I miss him
We did
because
that a lot.
he's
Oh, I
not on
miss
the
the
show
streams,
anymore. He
yeah.
just does gaming now. So I
Well,
guess I'm gonna have
it's
to start
not
watching
that.
gaming streams.
I keep wanting to bully him about it because he's always on Twitch. And the problem with Twitch is you have to connect Twitch to share Twitch. If it's not connected properly, like I know that sometimes it shares on Twitter, but it doesn't always share on Twitter. And he doesn't utilize his Discord. And I know you guys don't use Discord, but here's the thing: it is an outlet for some people who are playing games where it'll pop up, be like, "Hey, Sats, you streaming?" It will do
Right,
that with
right.
Discord.
Right. Right.
For Twitch.
If you have
Uh,
right. If you have them
he
linked, yes.
needs to, yeah, he needs to set it up. He needs to talk to Eve, and he's being Mr. Lazy. He also has school though, so
He's got a lot on his plate.
My
so-
solution,
yeah.
That's a little
don't
joke, by
use
the way.
Twitch for any
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, go back to YouTube.
See, it's
YouTube,
tough because the
everyone-
only place I can find Chaos Eve
know,
is
Twitch.
on Twitch, and I don't like Twitch. I can't stand Twitch.
No, me
and,
neither.
and for a couple of reasons, I don't like the presentation. I don't really like the crowd in general. Not so much with Eve because she has a good crowd there, but I don't like the people who end up on Twitch. There's a lot of contention on Twitch, and I don't like it's the word abilities, I guess would be a way of putting it. I don't think it's a technically good platform, because I can do more with YouTube than I can with Twitch. And being a computer guy, that bugs me. I only want to be on the platform that can do the best stuff. And YouTube right now can do 60 frames at a 4K clip. And Twitch cannot do that. And they don't want to do that, by the way.
That's kind of how I felt about it. Like they're not very good for really sharing. Like they are for personal friends, but that doesn't hit everybody. And like I said, for Twitch to work, he's gonna have to actually do the work. Because Twitch doesn't do that. YouTube makes it a little bit easier because you can set up all your notifications. You could technically do it in advance if you wanted to.
The thing I don't understand about Twitch is why so many people are playing video games on a porn platform.
Well, it's there's that too. Like they really aren't.
Porn.
Like with YouTube, YouTube might not always be fair with their rules, but overall they will go after you. Whereas with Twitch, it's very clear that they don't give a shit about their rules because they only go after some people.
Yeah, I see plenty of nude yoga on YouTube.
No, but see, YouTube. See, the difference to me is YouTube has never said this is the kind of content we want to focus on. Where Twitch came out and said, we are a gaming platform. Oh, look, the whores are making more money. We're a whore platform that has some games on it.
It's ethical. Yeah. No, but I mean, if you want to talk about actual nudity on the platform, they ban people they ban women because guys don't do it. But they ban women for showing nipple on Twitch. It's temporary
unless they're successful.
Unless they're Pokemon, big, right? Yeah.
Streamers.
But I mean, they took away what was her name? The girl who was competing with Amaranth for the bathtub streams. They took away her partnership. So there's that. No idea. But if you want to see actual balls and vaginas, you can go to YouTube and see them, because YouTube nude yoga is a thing, and you can see all you want.
No, for me,
it's art.
YouTube doesn't have like a set focus the way that Twitch is claiming to.
Right, that's ethical. Right, I agree with you
100%. If I went to Pornhub and I saw all these videos on why Bitcoin is a safe investment, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this doing here?" Like, it's not porn. It shouldn't be on Pornhub.
Yeah, but I mean, Twitch is not really porn. I mean, if it is, it's softcore porn. But I understand what you're saying. I know you are, and it's funny. And you have a point, because it's supposed to be a game. I made this point. We got into this discussion before, you and I, that Twitch should be only gaming. There should be no IRL. There should be no, I'm just talking. If you want to do that, make another URL, call it Twitch Chat, and send all those people there. Or if you're going to be adult, you have adulter content where you have women in their bikinis, 2-piece with under boob and all that kind of stuff, then make a section of Twitter or Twitch. That's another story. Make a section under Twitch where that's age gated.
And that's what I think they should have done in the first place. And if that's what they did, I wouldn't have as big of an issue with it. Because that's stuff that YouTube has had problems with. Like, they had a history of not really moderating that stuff. It kicked them in the balls. Everyone was like, you should probably do that.
Yeah, and now we have it. Now YouTube says, when I set up the stream, it says, is this stream for children or not? It asks me.
And that's good. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with Twitch if that was the case. But they didn't market themselves that way. So if they're going to rebrand that, rebrand. Maybe that's the thing to do. Be like, okay, you know what? We're going to change the platform a little bit, just because we understand that you want things to be a little bit more racy. We just want to make things more safe for the children, because no child should have watched Amaranth dressed up as a horse, giving her microphone head.
Well,
okay, I get the kid probably laughed because I probably would have at 12, but at the same time, though, like,
a horse's head and a horse's hooves. But the important parts were not covered by a
Like-
horse's costume, that's for sure.
Like,
She wore a tight
I
little
get what she
yellow
was
pair of
doing, like-
shorts and a very loose top on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
We know what Amaranth
like-
is selling. We know quite well what she's selling.
and
She's-
I don't
she's
give
got
a
an
shit.
OnlyFans,
Go,
so-
you do you, girl. I just don't want 12-year-olds necessarily watching it. Okay.
I don't find
Like,
her
don't
that
get me wrong.
attractive, to be honest with you.
No, I don't either. But I don't choose what other people make their money off of,
Yeah.
and I don't want to. I don't want to. I think she's free enough to do her own thing. I just, like I said, I just want Twitch to do better. And I actually think if she heard me say that, she'd probably agree, because I'm not telling her not to work. I'm
Yeah.
telling Twitch.
If Amaranth did the exact same thing but on Chatterbait instead of Twitch, fine. Like, put it where it belongs. There's plenty of softcore smart websites that you can go to.
Yeah.
You don't need to corrupt Twitch.
It's probably just because Twitch is just one of the other bigger platforms, you know, and that's
No,
That's me playing
I'll
around.
tell you
don't
what
worry.
it is. It's because Twitch is, was mostly populated by gamers, and gamers tend not to be that successful with the ladies,
Mhm.
so they're more easily milked for money by
Yeah.
showing bits.
I'm not
That's
sure.
it. That's the reason I went to Twitch.
My shenanigans have seemed to screwed up the OBS a little bit, Jen. You don't have an avatar anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
that's why I started. I was like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna
Let
bring
me-
attention to it anymore. Like, you know, just
That's
like,
okay. Let me just see how see if I can reset it and see if it'll come back. There we go. You're all fixed because I'm amazing. Indie Fox is the other girl. What I wanted to do is I wanted to open up a browser and look up who the competitor was for Amaranth, but it went over top of the stream. So I went to move it out of the way so it wouldn't interfere with the stream, and I moved the stream instead. Because I'm an idiot. But yeah, Indie Fox is the one who lost her sponsorship, so she doesn't get a check mark on.
Oh, okay.
On
Now that you said the name, it does
Twitch.
sound familiar.
yeah, and now between the two of them, I think Indie Fox is pretty damn hot. Personal opinion. Like Amaranth,
I don't know
is
what
just-
she looks like.
She's cute. First of all, she's dark hair, light skin. I'm not big on blondes.
Okay.
Amaranth's a blonde, so
I
that's the
thought
deal.
she was a ginger.
Is it red hair?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
It's
tell
dyed.
Wee-
It's dyed red.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell Weebo I said that. I don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to replace redheads, that's for sure.
Mhm.
But
Well,
Indie
no,
Fox is light-eyed, dark hair, light skin, and
Plus, if we're going to
probably-
replace gingers, it's going to be with dark skin, not dark hair.
yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, Indie Fox is much nothing against Amaranth. Amaranth is a very well put together young lady, but Indie Fox is probably about 20-30 pounds lighter.
She's also younger too. Like
Is she?
Amaranth is not new to the crowd. She's been around for a while.
Right.
And-
but I mean,
and
as
yet
far as
again,
age,
fair enough.
Are they the same age? I think Indie Fox is actually by date younger as well,
I
isn't
don't
she?
I thought she
Younger?
was quite a good deal younger.
Older women always getting jealous of the younger women coming up.
They
Mhm.
do, but it's also playing the game. Like when you've been playing it for the longest time, and I suspect a lot of these women just really haven't invested. Like I don't know if they didn't invest in products or something, or maybe they didn't invest in other things, because that's what I would have been doing. Like I'm not saying I would have gone that route, but if I was using the internet as my means to get extra cash fast or something, like if that's how low I was going to go, I would put it towards something like college or like my own business or something. Something where it's like, okay, I understand why she made that sacrifice. You go, girl.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's
bringing
killing a
home, what,
middleman.
$30,000 a week. Is that the going rate for Twitch Thoughts at this point? They're making money
Yeah.
hand over foot.
I'm just saying, if it was me, I would be putting a lot of that away, and that's what you should be doing. Like, don't just spend it all. Like a lot of these people are like, oh, I'm going to go spend money on a $4 million apartment. No, because you have to pay for that now.
Costin
Invest it.
Costin is in chat. Greetings, wonderful,
Costin.
wonderful seeming and wonderful jeez, people. OG Costin, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we could
Beauty
probably
fades. I'm just saying.
we could probably do a whole show just on Twitch and the controversies and things like female streamers and that kind of thing. I remember seeing a thing on YouTube where they were comparing the content that girls made on it was on YouTube, but it was about TikTok, and it was like, this is the content that guys make, and it shows these guys like parasailing and at these locations doing dangerous things, and he says this is the content women make, and it shows girls with no bras on dancing to music. And he's like, that video got 2.4 million views, and this one from the guys got 110,000. He says, you want to, and he's just pointing out how all a woman has to really do is dance without a bra, and she'll get millions of views.
Yes.
Moderately attractive, kind of deal. So, but I mean, on all things being equal, there is a TikToker that I watch. I don't remember her name. It's like Kelly something like that. But she does these voices and these personalities. She has like a whole group. She has her, then she has her as her mother, then her as her one of her two sisters, because she does two different sisters, and then her baby brother, and then an aunt. And she does these TikToks where she cuts from one to the other as if they're all in the same room talking to each other. And she comes up with that they're funny. I mean, I'd have to go back and do some research, and maybe next week, if I remember to pursue it, I can bring one of the TikToks up. But they're actually funny, and she's pretty and all. She's an attractive girl, but she's not your typical, thought kind of deal. Who just dances in front with a pair of skimpy pants on. Her content's actually really, really good. So, I mean, just because there are thoughts out there doesn't mean I don't want to get people angry with me that all women on TikTok or YouTube or any other platform are just all a bunch of hoes. I'm not saying that, but
heck, we don't even have a problem with women who want to dance on a video.
No, it's fine. I mean,
heck, you could even be good at dancing.
If you want to give those 12-year-olds something to do at night in their bedroom alone.
Oh, I wasn't saying shirtless. I mean someone actually dancing, like someone with legit talent actually dancing.
Well,
that would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I love watching. What do they call them? Flash mobs.
Yeah.
I love flash mob videos. I know there's not many of them because it's kind of gotten out of style. But going back to some of the old flash mob videos, I was like, and they tell you right up front, this is going to be a flash mob. But then you see one person come on, then two, and then three. You watch it build, and you have no idea how many people are going to end up on it. And there was one in like Amsterdam. There was like 1,000 people in a flash mob, and they were dancing to Michael Jackson's Thriller. So it was like choreography and everything. I was like, this is fucking awesome. So there's a lot of things like that on YouTube. Dancing is okay.
It's just that's not really what they're doing though, and that's the thing. Like for somebody who was out there actually putting a video out, yeah, I dance. It's I don't watch a lot of TikToks. I actually watch more people who do reviews on TikToks than actual TikToks. But it was this girl who was doing reviews on an actual ballet dancers, doing techniques on TikToks, like whether or not they were real ballet dancers. And she did these reviews on YouTube, and it was interesting to watch because I wouldn't think to look at that kind of stuff because I didn't go down that route. When I was a little girl, yeah, I did have thinkings that way. I maybe took a class or two. I didn't like the idea of the toe thing though, like the nightmares I had just based off of what happens to their feet. I was like, no, thank you. But that's just it. Like, are you really going to compare a ballet dancer to someone stripping their top on Twitch? Like, I would feel bad for the ballet dancer who's actually wanted to demonstrate this is actually what I do. Because she's going to be lumped in with the same boat, and it's a completely different, one's an actual profession. It's it is one of those things that I've noticed on the thought scam, and it's not all of them. Some girls are just pretty. I feel bad for the girls who are probably just pretty, who are just lumped in, but Like if you're just somebody who's wanting to demonstrate a skill, and then you've got some girls like, I don't even need to have a skill. I just need to have titties.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, they have their place. I don't think it's on Twitch, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Eventually something will happen. They'll make some kind of change because someone's going to go too far.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be their version of an adpocalypse, and things are going to get straight. Someone's going to complain. Someone's going to say, my child got onto your thing and, you know, saw so-and-so's doing this, and it's going to be a lawsuit, and things will
and it's
change.
just, it's sad because it's a really easy fix, like we've said before. Just put it in a different section.
You can bring up twitch.tv and go to that site and have a link to twitch.chat or twitchtv.chat or something like that. So you can still get to that content if you wanted to, you know, but just put it on another URL.
You just gave me an idea. You could have twitch.tv for the video games and twitch.tv for the other stuff.
Twitch.thought.
Right?
That's pretty funny. They really should change the way the categories work, because I think the thing that bothers me out of all of them is movies like Predator.com. I mean, that could be like how you get a hold of pedos. You got a guy named Predator who goes after pedos. So the name Predator.com shouldn't be about the movie, The Predator.
Yeah.
You know, it should be Predator.mov or .movie. The whole word, you know.
Predator.com should be for a company named Predator, whatever that company does.
Right.
But
the
.com
movie
should be company or commercial.
Yeah, but the movie should be. I think all movies, even if they use a .com right now or a .net or whatever they're using, I think all movies who have space on the net. I don't want to just say websites, but space on the net. Anytime they're to be referenced on the net, as far as a website's concerned, that movie should be .movie. There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Like Top Gun .movie. You know, The Hunt for Red October .movie. If you want to know anything about the movie, it should all be there. You know, I just don't believe in using company.
I think it's too late, though. I think it's been too firmly established the way it is. It's going to be very difficult to get that kind of change implemented.
You know, I don't see where. I mean, technically, being a technical guy myself, that wouldn't take more than 15 minutes to do, and proliferating over the internet wouldn't take that long either, a couple hours. So, really, as far as the technical part of it, that wouldn't be much of a problem. It's going to be the political and ethical part of it that's going to be the problem.
Yep.
You're going to have the girls freak out. Yeah. Regardless, you're going to have the girls freak out. They're going to be, because they're going to be like, well, our content is the same. It's like, it's not. It's not. Yeah. It just isn't. It just isn't. It has nothing to do with gaming.
Need to create a whole new category. .thot. That's an acronym. For those who don't know, THOT is an acronym. It stands for that whore over there. And it doesn't make any sense because whore is not spelled with an H.
I always heard it as that hoe over there, as in.
Well, that works even better.
The shortened version of whore.
Yeah. So, anyway. We always seem to end up somewhere around sex at the end of the show. Ever notice that? Yeah. If it's not dating, it's sex.
I ranted about it a little bit myself. I get that way because it like I said, I don't want to rain on the other ladies' parade, because that's not what you do. You're not supposed to do that when you're in the female crowd.
Right?
We are all women. But at the same time, though, like I said, I don't want 12-year-olds watching a video of Amarath with a freaking horse mask giving a mic head. I get that might be a funny gif, but no.
Now that you put the image in my mind, it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what the horse head's all about. I really don't get that. I see that all the time.
She was paid to do that.
Oh, okay. Because I
don't get the horse head either. But...
And I saw it on a news broadcast once. This woman was broadcasting about the bad weather, and some guy with a pair of shorts and a horse head on ran behind her. I was like, what's this thing with the horse head? What is this all? It's got to be some kind of, there's got to be some kind of meaning behind it. I don't know what it is.
It's probably some internet meme, like some joke internet meme that like makes more sense to a certain group of people, but.
Yeah, it's probably an in-joke that we're not in on.
Frost has said you can't motorboat skills, though. I'm not a breast guy. I'm sorry. I really can't. I really have no room to comment. And an assassination corrected me. It is H-O, the hoe over there. So he got it as well.
Yes.
Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on tonight before we?
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, there was nothing really too interesting. I think we've covered everything.
There's nothing too interesting. All that work to get those 3 topics, and you didn't
Oh,
find.
that was great.
Hurt my feelings.
I just mean there's not too much going on that I could think of. Like we're kind of, I'm enjoying the fact that it's a little bit quiet right now, because that means that people are probably crying because they didn't win.
Okay.
When I saw 8 cents in the show notes, I thought maybe 50 Cent had lost like 84% of his money or something.
Yeah, I make them. Maybe I should make them a little bit more specific, because I'm kind of screwing you guys over.
It's fine, but for like sending Jen and me the notes for what we're going to be talking about, probably would help to be a bit more detailed.
Well, I figured I'm supposed to put this out like a couple hours before the show starts, and I'm assuming that you guys are going to show up in the pre-show an hour before, so we would have time to touch base about this. But I just screwed up tonight, so that's on me. But tomorrow, or not tomorrow, tomorrow is Thursday. That's Johnny Hellcat's stream. He runs that stream.
Yes.
But as far as next Wednesday, I'll try to be more on time. Now that I've kind of got an idea of how to do video, and the tweaks, I'm going to have to make some tweaks to OBS, because when I started playing video, the screen updated so quick that OBS wasn't sending information fast enough to YouTube, and it stuttered. And I should be able to fix that, so that it's nice and smooth for everybody, and we don't lose Kiever Dam. Where'd you go? So I have things to work on, like always. I don't want to use the duct tape production term or be sued by Matt Christensen, but you know, we're coming along. I promise it'll get smoother and look better over time. So, all right. YouTube is screaming at me. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming as such. So maybe now's a good time to get out of here. Just play some music and run. All right.
All right.
We'll go ahead and do that. Thanks, guys, as always, for hanging out in chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh no! Have a good night.
We haven't gotten to that point yet, but
I was giggling at cannibalistic.
If you're looking for more from the zoo, our Discord is linked in the description down below, and we are live every evening, 7 days a week. Quiz on Monday, Skep on Tuesday, Johnny Hellcat this Thursday. Sanguine's Friday, Harry is on Saturdays, and Poppy and Delahazed are doing this Sunday. Actually, I think Delahazed has taken over the Sunday streams now. I think Poppy's off doing the Sunday stream, so that's a programming change. So we'll be back next Wednesday, as usual. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody.